is time for your weekly breakdown on the latest in entertainment, sports, pop culture, and all things Milwaukee. This is Nothing But The Truth with Melanie Ricks. Now streaming on 1017 The Truth YouTube with the witty banter, latest trends on social media, and hottest celebrity topics, here is Melanie Ricks.
What's good, gang? What's really good? Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nothing But The Truth with Melanie Ricks. My name is Mel. You can't tell by my beanie. It's windy outside. That's the only reason why I'm wearing it. It's so windy, like literally. I was walking my dog. Girl, I almost got blown away. So I put this beanie on real quick. But it's 60 degrees in Milwaukee today. I don't know what the temperature will be when this airs, but today is 60. People are milling about. 3rd Street Market Hall is lit. And I'm here in Stu with Ben Jammin. How you doing, Ben?
It's amazing.
Wow. You heard that vibrato? It's amazing. Wait, let's try to harmonize real quick. Let's just try it. Ready?
Let's do it.
One, two, three.
It's amazing.
I didn't know if you were going to go high or low, so I went like a little like mezzo.
I was trying to match you.
Oh, you're trying to match.
Whatever your energy was, you know what I'm saying? I'm lost following you.
I love it. I appreciate that.
It's okay for a woman to lead, you know.
Listen, you're a good man for recognizing that. Thank you for saying that.
I knew that compliment right there.
You knew you would like that.
Like, yeah,
you know I would like that, I should say. I do. Ben's a good man. I give him a hard time, but he's a good one. I may not be saying the same thing in 10 minutes, though, so we'll see. No, I'm just playing. Speaking of good men, I saw a video that went viral a few weeks ago. A mom was inside of what looked like a Foot Locker, but either way was inside of a shoe store with her son. He picked up a pair of Anthony Edwards, which I like his shoes personally. And she said, no, not those. He don't take care of his kids. And then she said, get some Kobe's or get some Ja Morant's. And then she specifically said, he takes care of his daughter. I thought that was so interesting because the barometer of what we consider a good role model and what we don't. And obviously, it's always going to be a personal preference. And no disrespect to Ja, because I think that, you know, he's still young. He's still learning and growing, as we all are. But of all people, for her to suggest otherwise, the fact that she said he don't take care of his kids about Anthony Edwards, and then she said to him, go get some Ja Morant's instead, he does take care of his daughter, to our knowledge. But this man also was suspended for waving a gun around on multiple occasions. And so I just found that interesting that she used him, specifically pointed him out as someone who is a good enough role model to buy the shoes for her son, but somebody who doesn't take care of his kids allegedly is not good enough. I want to know when it comes to kids, or I guess when it comes to like what a role model is, like, is it that there's certain bad behaviors that can just be overlooked, or like y'all are just good with being like, it's bad, but it's not that bad? And like, is it one of those things where it kind of depends on the person? It depends on like how the news frames it, because with the Anthony Edwards of it all, Ben, I don't know what you know, but what I've heard is all hearsay. You know, I've heard hearsay about how he doesn't take care of his children. And I'll be the first one to not defend a deadbeat. Okay, let's just be very clear. We don't defend deadbeat dads, but we also don't know what's going on at home. We don't know that situation. I do know that he, at one point, again, allegedly, I believe it came from his mouth, though, tried to deny the paternity of one of his children. And I think that it was like a very like, no, this is yours. There's no chance that it's not yours. And I think he tried to deny it. That's what I remember hearing. I try to stay away from the NBA gossip, though, just because obviously when you do what I do for work, which is I'm a reporter specifically for the Milwaukee Bucks, but for the NBA as a whole, I'm being serious, Ben. I really do try to stay away from their personal lives, unless it's something that's going to relate to the storytelling as far as the game goes. If there's like story progression, great. I want to know about it. Like, I'm always checking on people's social media, seeing what people are up to, seeing what kind of kicks, what kind of fashion, what the family is like. But I stay away from the children. Even when it comes to the players, like the Bucks players, I don't talk about their children. I think kids are very off limits. And I think it's such a deeply personal thing that's one thing where when I hear about it, I actually get uncomfortable because I'm like, I come from a background of having a father who was not in my life. He chose not to be in my life. When I was born, my parents weren't even together anymore. They'd already broken up. They broke up when I was in the womb, okay? So I never even really got a real shot at having a dad because he chose to walk away from that. So like I said, I'm the last person to defend a deadbeat. So let's just be very clear on that. But with that, again, I just thought it was interesting that she said, you know, somebody who I presume to be a deadbeat father, you're not going to buy his shoes. We're not going to support that. But this other guy over here who has literally gotten suspended from his job for something that he didn't allegedly do, he did it. He very much did it. We all saw it. We saw the video evidence, and he didn't do it just once. He did it twice, and it was a weapon. So do y'all think that there's like a lesser or a worse when it comes to, I guess, like the off-court shenanigans, if you will? And again, I don't like NBA gossip. It's less about the individuals. It's more about their actions and the fact that that mom specifically said no because he doesn't take care of his kids, but you can get these because he does. Is that a fair like thing? Like, I guess in a way, Ben, maybe she's teaching her son like you don't do that, you don't support that kind of behavior. What do you think? Because that's, now that I think about this thought, like honestly, it just popped in my mind. Like, it is her also teaching her son like being a deadbeat is not it, and we're not going to support that at all. Do you think that that's like what the point of it was?
I think that's exactly what that mother was going through, you know, just making certain that her son isn't out here supporting people who are deadbeat fathers.
On what?
You know, and also I think it was a relevant topic for her, like type of mind. She's not thinking about Ja Morant waving a gun. Fair. You know, not once but twice, you know, but it also goes to speak to where the public is, you know, where the public's mind is, where the public is actually viewing, you know, how they're viewing Anthony Edwards versus Ja Morant versus anybody else. Because she went on to go say Kobe, but you could also argue the fact that, or the idea that Kobe had raped a white woman back in 2003.
But that was proven to be false.
I'm just saying, it's just the idea out there. You know, there's a narrative people can run with, you know, if they like to. But with that being said, with this Anthony Edwards case, I think that the mother was right. You know, she's like, you know what? I don't support deadbeat fathers. Where your daddy at right now? He might just be just like this guy. So we can't be around here supporting those types of ideas, especially doubling down on the idea. I guess this is all happened in the past like week or two, because there's the Anthony Edwards situation, and then there's also the Dr. Umar Johnson situation, right? Where his one of his children, mind you, I didn't even realize Dr. Umar Johnson had kids, but one of his children come out and publicly say that, hey, Dr. Umar Johnson, my father, has never been in my life like that. You know, he may be going around talking about black man, black woman, preaching all this stuff about how black unity is needed and all these ideas. But here is his own seed talking about how he has never came around for her. So it's one of these things that seem to be hypocritical, but at the same time, you know, the black family, or I should say the black population that does pay attention to people like Dr. Umar Johnson and Anthony Edwards all pulling back, because ultimately, like, I can't support you if these are the types of things or rhetoric that you're going to be pushing. I can't do it. You know, it's a devastation amongst us.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, how do you feel? Because obviously, I mean, I'm sorry. Maybe she is the type where she just has the camera on at all times, but it's pretty obvious she wanted to make a statement with that. Like, it probably happened, and then she said it, and she was like, you know what? Let me get this on tape. And she probably pulled out her phone, and then obviously she purposely posted it.
Made it a moment.
She made it a moment. She did that intentionally. How do you feel about her calling him out for that?
I think as a parent, that's one of the things that you're supposed to do, though, right? Like, you're supposed to be able to set examples for your child, you know, and sometimes you're supposed to be able to realize situations that will be a teaching lesson, a learning lesson for your child. Maybe not right then there, maybe not right then there in that moment, but when they grow older, they'll look back and be like, damn, I'm actually glad you didn't allow me to buy Anthony Edwards shoes.
Is it okay, though, to call out? Because I'm not a parent yet, like to human babies, but like, is it okay to call out somebody else for their parenting woes?
I think so, especially when they have a platform. I think we kind of talked about this briefly, but when you are a person, especially just an adult period, forget about you having children, forget about all the other stuff. When you realize that you have become an adult and that you have a platform, you have influence, you need to know how to use that influence to not only better yourself, but to better the people that's going to follow behind you, the people you're setting an example for. You may not even be able to see the people that you're going to set an example for, but best believe each and every time you put your foot down, you are setting an example for somebody out there, whether that person speaks to you or not. That's why, you should always try to move righteously. You should try to. I'm not saying that people need to be perfect, but understand that you're setting an example for somebody out there who will be influenced by your actions and may be affected by some ripple effect of what you have caused. So ultimately,
Thanks.
Be responsible for all of your actions. Each and every last one of them is part of being an adult. Be responsible for all your actions, even the ones that you would say, oh, it was her fault instead of my fault, because there's people out there talking about Anthony Edwards, and in regards to him having a baby, he told the girl he didn't want to have the baby. She didn't want to abort the child. She decided to have the child. Well, Anthony Edwards, I'm sorry to say, sir, but that's on you. You should have never put your pee-pee in anything that you didn't think would be viable enough to mother your seed, mother your child, or even be with for 18 years at least. So with that being said, if you realize you have a platform and you have influence, it is your duty to uphold that influence and understand that you may be responsible for some little lives out there to some degree. Even yourself, Mel, you have a platform. You have young people that are looking up to you, trying to figure out how to become the next Melanie Ricks, trying to figure out how to get on the platform with the Milwaukee Bucks, trying to figure out how can they be the sideline reporter. They want to figure those types of things out. But what happens if Melanie Ricks goes off script, right, and decides to just wild out and do some extra stuff, and she's having her hot girl summer? And
now I can have a hot girl summer and still,
keep it classy though.
You feel me?
Yeah. Keep the hot girl classy. But I ain't saying trashy.
But no, facts. We don't do trashy. Yeah. But let me hit you with a hot take real quick.
Take on a sex tape of you and stuff. That's crazy.
Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. So Anthony Edwards, I don't keep up, like I said, with the gossip, especially when it comes to the NBA, because to Ben's point, mm-hmm. I work for the NBA, and I do feel like there has to be a degree of separation from the personal and the professional. It's way too easy when you know certain things about people to view them in a different light, and then you approach whatever topic it is concerning them. You're always going to approach it with that like thought. You know what I mean? Whether it's subconscious or not. But in the latest, and this article is from March 13th. So this article says NBA star Anthony Edwards' ex Aisha's lawyer drops out as the child support war heats up. So in short, Anthony Edwards, like you said, he had a baby with this woman. Now, this woman is 37 years old. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Anthony is 23. I think that the details are very important. I'll come back to that in a second. He said that he does not want custody. He does not want visitation. He essentially wants nothing to do with this child. And he said, quote, "She and I have one minor child together, Aubrey Summer Howard. Paternity was recently established through DNA testing. I am not seeking child custody or visitation of Aubrey. Therefore, the only issues to be resolved are financial in nature." Now, to your point, what if, I don't know the details about if she knew she was pregnant and told him, he told her to terminate. I don't even want to get into all that. But what if he decided, I'm not going to be the father that this child needs. Therefore, I'm going to remove myself from her life, and I'm going to continue to support her and her mother because that is my fatherly duty. But I know that I'm not going to be the father that she needs, and or I'm not ready to be a dad. And that's where I'm going to go back to the age of it all. And then I'm going to bring this point back around to where as it relates to me. And this is why I can not defend, but this is why I can take this position. He's 23 and she's 37. He's a 23-year-old NBA superstar.
Age gap.
And I think that she's 37. I'm 33, and I want to have a baby yesterday. You feel me? I'm certain that this woman was over the moon excited when she found out she was pregnant with this baby girl. And it ain't got nothing to do with the money. Obviously, the money don't hurt, but she was probably just excited to be a mom. Okay, I don't know if she has any other children. I have no clue, but she was excited about this baby enough that she went through with her pregnancy. She had the baby, right? Anthony is now trying to separate himself, and I think it's because he probably knows he can't be the dad that this child needs. He said, I'm still going to support you, but I don't want anything to do with it as far as like a custody agreement or visitation. My dad, unbeknownst to me, that's what he told my stepdad when I was 5 or 6 years old. And my stepdad only told me this about a year ago. My dad said to him, I need you to be the dad that I cannot be. And I, as a kid, of course, would have never understood that. I always thought like, oh, my dad doesn't want me, or I'm not good enough, or I did something to make him not, be in my life. This is my fault. Like, I blame myself my entire childhood because my mom never shared that with me. But how do you tell a child your father doesn't want or can't be a father, and that's why he's not here? You can't say that to a kid because a kid can't, they can hear it. They can't comprehend that. So I actually commend Anthony for sure. There's probably some other stuff because obviously, like, we heard that he was trying to say it wasn't his and da-da-da. But guess what? It is his. And he's taking responsibility and he's saying, listen, visitation is out. Joint custody is out, but I'm going to take care of you financially. I respect that he's at least doing that because as far as I know, we got about 18 years of back pay on child support. You feel me? And my mom never went for my dad. So that's me bringing my personal life here and telling y'all something that's very deeply personal. I never talk about that, but my mom wasn't getting financial support from my father at all. And that would have obviously helped a lot. And he chose to walk away because he said he could not be the father that I needed. I think that is probably a similar situation with Anthony without me knowing him. I don't know him personally. I only know him on a professional level. Yeah. But I still think that the mom calling him out, I didn't like that. I'm going to be very honest. It doesn't have anything to do with who it is. It's the nature in which she called him out. Because I think that that's such a personal thing. Anything having to do with minor children is so personal. And you think you know, but you don't really know. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors. Right. We don't know what went into their relationship. We can speculate. They each have their side, but it's her side, it's his side, and there's the truth. And none of us will ever know it. And who are we to shame?
I will say this, though, Mel. I think it's kind of funny that Anthony Edwards' baby mother, the baby mama to this child, Aisha Howard, is also the baby mother of Lil Baby. All right. So Lil Baby also had a baby by this woman.
See, I didn't know that.
It sounds like to me, some people would speculate and say she could be a gold digger. She's the person who gets around.
But is it bad to be a woman who happens to date men with money? Is that a bad thing?
I don't think that's a bad thing. Okay. I think more so the intention behind it all. Because
and that's fair.
If
that's
you think
valid.
about it, like you just said, this lady's 37 years old.
Yeah.
Right? Lil Baby, who is a big rapper out of
He's
Atlanta.
like late 20s,
yeah,
right?
He's like 27 right now. He's like 27. So when she had the child with him, he was 25.
She's 10 years older than him.
She's 10 years older than him.
She dates younger. Good for her. Okay, cougar.
Hey, she could be a predator though. She's preying on younger men.
But they're willingly getting into bed with her.
I feel you on that. Like I said before, I believe it's on these men. I believe it's on Anthony Edwards.
What makes a predator though?
Because you're preying on somebody,
and you're specifically targeting. I'm just wondering where does it become? Like, how do you separate predator from she just has a type?
Manipulation.
What's the manipulation? That she's getting pregnant by these men unknowingly, so like unknowing on their side. Purpose. But there are ways to not get pregnant. You know that. Ben, I'm 33. I've never been pregnant in my life.
Okay. Hey, yeah.
I'm just, but you understand. You understand my point.
I understand your point. She has been pregnant though. This woman's been pregnant.
But these men willingly did whatever needed to be done in order for that to happen.
And what did I say, Mel? It's a shame on the men. However, she is preying on these younger dudes who happen to be multimillionaires for a reason, because she knows for a fact that these younger dudes not really thinking like that. They're like, man, I see a baddie. Let me go ahead and ram that up. That's what I'm finna do. I know you saw, did you ever see Lottery Ticket?
Yes.
Lottery Ticket, in the movie Lottery Ticket, Bow Wow wins the lottery, and the bad girl that he wanted the whole time, who kept dissing him, once she found out that he had won the lottery, she was all in that man's face. And Mel, these types of things actually happen.
Of course.
Like they actually happen.
Now, Ben, I'm being cute and cordial right now. I know.
Yeah.
But
you got the secret sauce.
But I'm trying, period. No, but you know what I'm saying? I think we need to stop like putting it on the woman, because you're right. You are right.
It's on both parties.
It's on both parties. But I don't want it to seem like, oh, she just out here getting pregnant by these dudes.
It sounds like it.
It sounds like it.
Who the next victim?
However, he's not.
Cardi.
But these men are not victims because they were willing participants.
Big Frank.
They were willing participants.
Steve the Stoner.
This was not. They weren't raped. They weren't sexually assaulted. Like, these are men that are participating in this act.
You're correct.
But all that being said, I know that there were like text messages that she put, because unfortunately, Ben, you know how we were saying, like, allegedly he asked her to abort all the things. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, she did present text evidence in court, and there are screenshots. It's alleged because we don't know for certain. We don't know.
We don't judge.
But that is the one thing I will say. If you were asked to take care of it, but you didn't agree, because it is the woman's choice at the end of the day. It's our body. I'm sorry. It's our choice at the end of the day. And I'm sorry to any men that disagree with that, but it's the truth.
That's true.
However, I respect that he's still taking care of it to the best of his ability. And I don't like that mom called him out, because is he a deadbeat dad if he's still going to support them financially? I guess that's my question to you.
Yes, he's still a
deadbeat dad. But even if he knows he doesn't, he can't be a dad. He didn't want to be a dad, but now he's here. So you think he should have been forced into, not forced, I'm sorry, that's not the right word, but you think he should just put on his big boy pants and take care of? Really? But do you think this baby deserves to have a dad who doesn't want to be a dad?
Yeah, you got to figure it out, man.
Wow.
You owe that to your youngin.
No, that's real. That's real.
Yeah, because when he grows up, and even that child, okay, look, ultimately, I guarantee you, when Anthony Edwards grows of age for real, looks back on it all, he's going to regret the time that he missed out. Yeah, he's going to regret that time, man. You can't just be out here having babies and not realizing, like, you need to take care of them. You can't be out here having babies and realize and come to the realization, like, I don't want to be a father. Like I said before, you're a full-grown adult, you're a grown-ass man, take care of all of your responsibilities, from bills to new children. If you're out there having multiple children, you need to be able to take care of those children. Or if not, the jail cells have places for you. You're going to end up on child support if you get that kind of woman, because ultimately, again, this woman was looking for financial assistance. That's what ended up happening. He said he didn't want to be a father in the child's life, then so be it. Be a financial assistance. But even those finances aren't going to be the determining factor to make certain that your seed grows up to be a viable human being. They're going to grow up and be missing portions of themselves. They're going to have voids in them in their own lives just because you decided not to be there.
Can I just say, though?
No.
Okay, I'm done. All right, that's it.
No, go ahead, Mel.
I know, I'm just kidding. Honestly, Ben, I've said this to my friends in private. Mm-hmm. I now, as I say it, I don't know, because it's hard. It's like you're choosing between two different horrible options. It's a double-edged sword. That's what I phrase I was looking for. I think I would rather have not known my dad.
Okay.
Than to have known him for the short period of time that I did. Like, the last time I remember seeing my dad, 5, 6, and I talked to him last when I was like 14. Oh. And then he died when I was around 25. So my point, I know me, I'm a daddy's girl, even though I didn't grow up with my dad.
You love being around him, though, when you got a chance.
I was obsessed with my dad, but I almost wish that I hadn't known him, because I knew that he was there, but he didn't want to be in my life. Yeah. And so maybe that's why I'm taking the position I am, because I'm not defending a man who doesn't want to take care of his kid. I want to be very clear about that. I think it's indefensible, but I'm also looking at it as he's not ready. Yeah. And while I agree with you, I think that he should just buckle up. Because listen, you did it. You did the action that brought this baby here. That baby is a victim now, and that's not fair to her. I feel bad for her. Like I'm relating to the baby right now, but like I said, I almost would rather have not known my dad at all and let him and have him just take care of my mom and me financially than me to have known him for a little bit and him basically pull the rug out from under me and be like, all right, deuces.
Right.
So I almost wonder if, in a weird way, Aunt's doing that mom and that daughter a favor by stepping away. I really, and obviously he's a public figure, so she's gonna read about this one day, unfortunately. And
watch
Lord,
the videos and stuff.
and I pray that she has a great support system around her, and then her mom, you know, when she finally does talk to her, I hope she can talk to her in a gentle manner, because this is not going to be an easy conversation when she can understand it. But that being said, I wonder if he's doing them a favor.
You know, he could be doing them a favor, because I can't say I've wondered the same exact scenario, but I have wondered when it comes down to children that I see grow up in broken homes. I remember there was a family that I was actually pretty cool with when I was a kid, but their mom was just so abusive. And I'm talking about verbally abusive, physically abusive, not to the young girls, but to the older brother. She was very physically abusive and very verbally abusive to them. It made me wonder, you know, and mind you, the girls were very smart. The young girls were very smart as kids.
Yeah.
But it made me wonder when I saw them and they grew up. I was in a Walmart and I saw the girls with their mom, and I'm like, damn, like they look terrible. They look terrible, to be honest with you. But it made me think, like, dang, if their mom was never in their life, if they went on to go be, you know, in a foster home, so to speak, would their lives have turned out better?
Right.
You know, because sometimes people don't grow to be good parents. You know, some people aren't meant to be good parents. You know, some people are just peopling, you know, just living a human life and end up being parents, but they're not good parents at all. You know, so it makes me question that. But again, I think at the end of the day, when you become a parent, it's just up to you to take care of. You're responsible for that little human being. That's what's going down.
And that's the only reason why there's a part of me that feels like he's probably doing them a huge favor, and it's actually in a weird way very mature and responsible of him, because he knows that about himself, Ben. And I think, to your point,
does he know it, or is he avoiding responsibility?
He could be avoiding responsibility.
This man is only 23 years old.
But
he's
he's
like, bro,
still,
I'm trying to party right now.
He may be avoiding, but like he's still
some young poom.
But in
I
him,
want more.
but in him avoiding, he still understands that about himself. So maybe he's avoiding, but it doesn't like negate the fact that he knows he can't be there the way he needs to. So to your point, that baby is not gonna hopefully have to grow up in a broken home. Like, hopefully, like, I mean, because technically the home's not broken. There wasn't a home to begin with. Yeah, there wasn't a home.
It's just a hotel.
So she now is going to be financially supported for the next 18 years, and God is good, because at least she has that.
And that's only if Anthony Edwards goes to be successful. Like,
what you mean goes to be successful? That man has money for the next 3 generations.
You think
plus.
So? How much is his contract worth?
Are you being serious right now?
I'm so serious. Talk to me.
Have you not seen his Sprite commercials? Have you not seen his shoe deal?
Okay.
Have you not seen his NBA contract?
Okay.
Have you not seen that Supermax option? Like, come on now,
and
dog.
23-year-old.
And that's me naming things that are off the top of the dome. Come on, Ben.
And he's 23 years old.
And he's 23 years old.
Now,
that man has made more money than 99.9% of the people in this world will ever see, Ben.
That is real. However, can he manage it, though? You know, can he manage the money for the next 18 years of his life?
Well, he has no choice with the thanks to the court.
Got a choice.
No, thanks to the court, he has no choice.
Nah, he's definitely got a choice, and he can mismanage his funds. We've heard these stories time and time again. R. Kelly in jail right now, and from the Gayle King interview, what that man say? He was like, I gave y'all 30 years of my life. I gave y'all 30 years of my life. Why y'all doing this to me, man? A bank? I ain't seen my bank account in 30 years. I don't know how much money I got. So we don't really know.
Why is that the example you bring up?
Well, because what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, we give all this praise or whatever to celebrities when it comes down to them having money, and we don't
even know how they manage it.
We have no idea.
Yeah. No, you're right.
We have no idea. The allure looks great. The allure looks great. Like, it looked like you got everything going on.
Endless money,
it seems endless.
Yeah.
But there is there is a expiration date on that, especially if you do not manage it correctly. And I hope the young brother does it correctly. I hope after his football career is done and over with, he figures out a way to advance himself to the next level. But, statistically, a lot of football players mismanage their money. There's a lot of football players who've had these types of ideas before come behind them, and it doesn't work out for them because they've never had that kind of money before. Again, the fact the man is 23 years old, he honestly probably shouldn't have that kind of money if he never had that kind of money before. This is how we get the young Kodak Blacks crashing out, 10 years after their record deal. Kodak Black's record deal when he first got in was $20 million. He was 20 years old, 19 years old. Look at him now. The man be out here eating chicken on the side of the curb. But hey, I digress.
Not eating chicken on the side of the curb.
Hey,
listen,
for real. It's real.
All I gotta say is even Bill Gates likes to eat chicken on the side of the curb. But I understand your point.
Hey, yeah, and it's Microsoft Office.
Oh my gosh. All right, let us know in the comments what y'all think about that. It's a lot to unpack there. I think at the end of the day, we don't know these people. Like Ben made a super valid point. We don't actually know these people. We judge based off of hearsay and based off of things that we read and we see.
Right.
But that's not always what it is. And so I'm curious, based on the information that you have, I'm curious to know what your viewpoint is, and not just what your viewpoint is, but do you think that mom was in the wrong for calling it out, or do you think she's teaching her son the exact right thing, that you shouldn't be this way and you shouldn't support people who are this way? Let us know in the comments what your thoughts are. I want to say too, because like I said, it's very lit down here today. A lot of people are visiting Milwaukee. And I just need y'all to know that you are listening to Nothing But The Truth, brought to you by Visit Milwaukee. We love our friends over at Visit Milwaukee. And if you ever want to know what's going on, what's popping in the city, all you have to do is go to visitmilwaukee.org. I love going on their website. I love following them on social media. Whenever I need to know what's going on in my own city, they are the ones that I go and I talk to, and there's literally something always going on. In fact, Ben, I think we gotta call in one because I need to go see what's popping out here in 3rd Street Market Hall. But let us know in the comments what you think. We absolutely appreciate every single one of you for tuning in. You already know we're gonna hit you with some more hot gossip, but not even just the gossip of it all. We're gonna talk culture. We're gonna talk Milwaukee. All the things on every single episode of Nothing But The Truth with Melanie Ricks, brought to you by Visit Milwaukee. And again, we appreciate y'all. So I'm about to go visit Milwaukee on that note. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you next week. Bye.